What's up, guys? Kevin here. And yes, if you guys saw the headlines, you heard that right. Harvard is making college free. A lot of people are going to qualify for completely free tuition to get into one of the top rated schools in the United States. And I saw that and I got pretty excited. I started digging to get more information and I realized they're actually late. There are a lot of other Ivy League schools that have been doing this for a while now, and I was really blown away with all the information I found. So I just wanted to make this video to share with you guys what exactly is happening at Harvard, why they're doing this and why it's a good idea, and what other schools are doing to compete, or maybe rather what Harvard is doing to catch up. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So I'm going to post the link to the official announcement in the video description if you guys want to read through it for yourself. But yes, this is not misinformation or clickbait or fake news, whatever you would call it. But Harvard did announce on their official channels that most people will qualify for free tuition to the top Ivy League school in the United States. And obviously this is a huge deal because Harvard is extremely expensive and it's a dream for a lot of people, but they simply wouldn't be able to afford it. And now this creates an opportunity for a lot of people to go there that otherwise wouldn't. So there are some details around here and how this is actually going to work. One is this is starting for the 2025 to 2026 school year. So this fall will be the first opportunity for this to go into effect. And there are two main categories or tiers of how this is going to work. So the first tier is for families that are making under $200,000 a year, and they're going to qualify for free tuition, but there are still some other things on top. So you would have to pay for your own housing, food, things like that. They do offer some financial aid to support that, but it won't automatically be free. However, if your family makes less than $100,000 a year, then you would qualify for everything to be free. All normally billed items would be complimentary at Harvard. So that includes tuition, housing, books, health insurance, everything that they would offer would be completely free. And on top of that, they'll give you a $2,000 stipend your freshman year to help you get started. And they'll give you another $2,000 stipend your junior year to help you transition into the workforce when you're ready to graduate. So an extra $4,000 to help you out just with day-to-day activities, but everything else is free. So I just could not believe this. I thought that this was probably something that would never happen, but Harvard is putting it out there for everybody to see. There's no secret way to get this. It's literally an opportunity available to everybody. Now, they did also add that students from families that make over $200,000 could still qualify for financial aid. Again, it's not going to be these big overarching kind of just free options, but they will give you a level of financial aid based on your family's ability to repay. So with this new program, they estimate that 86% of people will qualify for some form of financial aid just through Harvard. And there are still, of course, other options for scholarships and things like that. This is just through the actual Harvard financial aid program. Now, you might be wondering, how does this even work? If that's such a big portion of how the school makes money, how can they just let everybody come in for free? And I guess, first of all, reminder, this is financial aid. This isn't a scholarship. This isn't, some other means of making it free. It's just their financial aid to take the burden off of the student. And this is actually something that has been in place for a while. Harvard started the financial aid initiative in 2004, and originally it was designed to offer students from families that made less than $40,000 a year an option to get free tuition. Now, for the past 20 years, it's been slowly getting bumped up. It got bumped up in 2006, and then again in 2023, and now again in 2025. So this has been an existing program that they've been able to monitor how well it's working and make sure that it's not affecting their bottom line or it's not something that isn't sustainable. Now, with that in mind, you wouldn't be surprised to know a lot of families already participate. They actually estimate that about 55% of families are taking advantage of financial aid, and up to 24% of people at Harvard right now are at school completely free. They are not paying a dime to go to Harvard. Again, these numbers I was completely blown away by. I did not know this was happening, so I just kept digging more and more, and this was kind of what I found. Now, they actually did the math for us and determined that the average cost of going to Harvard for the 23 to 2024 school year was $15,700. Now, that's a pretty big discount considering just tuition is looking at $65,000. And with everything included, it's looking at over $91,000. So really cheap compared to what it could be. Now, the cool thing is you can go to Harvard's website and they actually have a calculator that tells you how much financial aid you could qualify for. So if you're curious, you can go in there and you can put in your income, your family status, basically all of the details, and it'll tell you how much financial aid you would qualify for. So that tells us that they've been doing it for a while. They've probably got plenty of data telling them that it works, and they can slowly increase things over time so they can make sure it doesn't affect their bottom line. But how are they actually hitting their bottom line? Well, a huge part of the financial portfolio at Harvard is simply cash donations. If you look at the numbers last year, they received $1.2 billion. That's right, $1.2 billion in cash donations. This is from alumni, companies, different organizations and things that donate to Harvard to support their research and, other scholarship opportunities. Now that's actually low. It actually went down because in 2023, they got 1.4 billion. So between 2 years, they made over $2.5 billion just from people throwing money at them. So that is a significant portion of their revenue. They estimate it's around 33% of the money that they make and spend. So there's a big chunk of money coming in from former students and other people that just want to support the university. Now, in the back of my mind, I also feel like if they extend these financial aid opportunities to people from lower income neighborhoods or people that otherwise wouldn't be able to afford it, they're hoping that these people would be more motivated to donate once they get out into the workforce, get a little bit of time out there, start making good money. They'll think, they want to pay it forward. I got this amazing opportunity to go to Harvard for free. It's completely changed me and my family's life. So I want to give back and create that opportunity for other people. So I think they're anticipating that there's going to be a little bit of a churn here where even if you went to college for free, you're probably going to be sending more than what you would have paid in tuition over time after you graduate. Also, just a couple more numbers since I was curious. So their current endowment, which is basically just their purse of cash donations that they've received over time and they still have on hand, is over $53 billion. A little over 43 billion is set with restrictions. So that's coming from people that are giving them money for specific purposes like renovating certain parts of campus or scholarships for certain schools and stuff. Or they've got 9.6 billion that are unrestricted. So that's money that people sent them and they said, do whatever you want with it. We just want you to have our money instead. So again, over time, they send out money, they receive money, and it's kind of like just this revolving door. But just in their big piggy bank, they've got over $50 billion that they can spend. Now, even though they have these great financial aid opportunities, obviously the door isn't just wide open. The bar is still extremely high to get into Harvard. And I anticipate with this, it's going to be even more competitive. You can imagine that there were a lot of people that just weren't able to afford Harvard historically. Maybe they applied and got approved, but they couldn't get a student loan or for whatever reason, they weren't able to actually go. And then even above that, there were a bunch of people that probably didn't even apply just because they knew they wouldn't be able to afford it. So now with these opportunities and getting them a lot more press, they're anticipating that more people will apply, which should hopefully help them find more people that are high quality students with really good academic performance and just need a little bit of help to actually get through their school. And obviously that's the main point, the way that they started with people below $40,000 a year. That's, people that could be in the poverty line and are barely making it, but you've got a good student that is really smart, performing really well in school and working hard. They should be able to get the same education if they've earned it. So that's what they're trying to do here. They're just making it more accessible and they get a benefit from that too. Because now all of those students that were high performers but either couldn't afford it or just weren't applying to begin with, now they see this as something they can actually potentially get into. So they're going to have a higher chance of high quality applicants. They're going to have a more competitive program. And overall, their school is just going to be better for it. So, take a small hit on the tuition and income coming from that side, and then get a big leg up in the diversity of your students, higher performing students, and just a student body that better reflects the direction you want your university to go to. Now, the last thing I wanted to ask is why? Why are they choosing to do this now? And I think the crazy thing I saw is that they're trying to chase the other Ivy League schools. They're trying to match what other schools are already doing. When I looked it up, I saw that last year, the University of Pennsylvania, as well as MIT, extended similar programs. And then even further back, we've seen this from Dartmouth, Stanford, Vanderbilt, Princeton, Yale. A bunch of other Ivy League schools have programs that have slowly been increasing the threshold to get into their college for free. I, again, had no idea this was happening. I don't know if I've just been missing all of these headlines, but when I saw the Harvard one, I thought that was really cool and dug into it and realized they were in like 12th place for putting this out there. So I think it's really cool that they're all running. I saw, an article call it an affordability race, where they're all trying to put out the best coupon to attract the best students to their programs so that it's just more accessible and affordable for everybody. So I'm very much a fan of this race that they're going down. Then, of course, there's another part to that. My friend Bradley said it perfectly. This is basically DEI without saying it's DEI. All three of the letters D, E, and I are silent when you say it. And I mean, that is the case. This is exactly what the purpose of DEI is. I talked about this in my video where I broke it down, but nothing about DEI should tell you that you need to, hire or select a certain amount of people from certain demographics to get all your percentages and your numbers right. That's not how it's supposed to work. If you're targeting a good DEI program, all you need to do is make things more accessible. Everybody should have an opportunity to get into any program. And that's what Harvard is trying to do. They don't want the barrier of entry to be more than being a very highly academically capable student. There shouldn't be something that stopped you from applying just because you don't think that you can afford it. They're actually missing out on some of the best candidates for their program just because they can't pay for it. That doesn't benefit the student and that doesn't benefit the school. So by making it easier to get into the school, now they'll have more people applying, a much more competitive program, a much more competitive application process that will vet out a lot higher quality students. So their student body will be elevated, the diversity of their program will be elevated, which will naturally make their program more challenging and just make everything a lot better. Now we have a couple quotes here. One is from the Harvard University president saying that putting Harvard within financial reach for more individuals widens the array of backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives that all of our students encounter, fostering their intellectual and personal growth. By bringing people of outstanding promise together to learn with and from one another, we truly realize the tremendous potential of the university. Then we also have this quote from the Dean of Admissions and Financial Aid, who says, "We know the most talented students come from different socioeconomic backgrounds and experiences from every state and around the globe. Our financial aid is critical to ensuring that these students know Harvard College is a place where they can be a part of a vibrant learning community, strengthened by their presence and participation." So yeah, that pretty much sounds like DEI. And even above making the tuition cheaper or making things free, they've made other initiatives in their program to make it easier for people to get into school. For example, in 2007, they eliminated their student loan program. So any extension that they are giving to people to take a load off of their financial burden is simply being offered as grants or financial aid, not something that you need to pay back. Also, they stopped considering home equity in the calculation for a family's ability to repay. So if they're looking at your net worth, they don't care that you paid off half of your house, because really they should not be thinking that you'll sell your house to pay for your student loan or pay for your college. So now they've taken that out of the equation. So it is a much more realistic look at how much liquid assets and how much actual income families have to determine if they should be eligible for financial aid or not. So yeah, I think moving forward, we can expect a lot of things. One is this race will probably continue. The numbers will probably continue to slowly rise, although I think we saw a big bump the past couple years to compensate for inflation and other things. But I do think it will continue to go up for the same reason. The average median income is going to continue to go up. So if they want to keep up with that trend, then they're going to have to slowly bump up their thresholds so that they stay in line with that. And I do think that all of the colleges are going to continue with that, but hopefully other schools that aren't necessarily in this Ivy League top 1% consider doing that as well. The biggest challenge probably is if they're not getting as many donations or other means of covering their expenses throughout the year. Harvard is such a huge outlier, being literally the top school with the biggest endowment out there, that it probably is a little bit easier for them to make this kind of decision. But it would be awesome if college in general was more accessible to everyone. So yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, is this a trap? Do you think that it's going to be a setup or something's going to change last minute before people realize what's going on? Or is this just a net positive all around? That's kind of my perspective here. Again, it helps the students, it helps the school. It's really a win-win in my book. But I'm curious if you guys have any other thoughts on that. Maybe there's something you think I missed, but otherwise I think that's all we had for today. So thank you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.